wonderful.
Sonia Artero, TVB News.
Despite what some people consider a disappointing showing by China in Rio, fans here in Hong Kong are excited to see their sports idols up close. Tickets for this weekend's visit by China's Olympic heroes sold out within hours. Leung has more.
Around 5,700 tickets were put on sale starting 10 a.m. today. Each ticket cost $20. They were available at Hong Kong City Hall, the Hong Kong Cultural Center, as well as town halls in Shaotin and Tuen Mun. Some people started queuing up early this morning to secure a ticket to see their favorite athletes.
Leung, the Chinese table tennis players, she this time got the gold medal. Her attitude is very good and she's a very optimistic girl, and she gave me a lot of inspiration and support.
Especially the volleyball team, because the volleyball team has won the gold medal. I don't think it will be the whole team, but maybe some of them maybe come to Hong Kong so we can see them.
All tickets were sold within 4 hours.
Many of those lining up here today may not have traveled to Rio for the Games, so this is their chance not only to share in the nation's Olympic pride, but to witness the athletes showcase their skills.
This year's demonstrations include table tennis, badminton, and diving. A variety show will also be held at Queen Elizabeth Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Meanwhile, some tickets were put on sale on social media websites and mainland shopping websites. Some were going for more than 50 times the original price. A mainland seller was even offering staff passes for the event, claiming that buyers can use the passes to enter the venues legally. A lawyer warned all this is illegal. He recommends organizers print out buyers' names on the tickets. Leung, TVB News.
In other local news, a fire in Meifu Sinchun this morning has left 2 elderly residents in critical condition. The 2 suffered from smoke inhalation during the blaze. Winner Wong has the details.
The fire started this morning in a ground floor rubbish collection room at a residential building on Nassau Road in Meifu Sinchun. Many of the rubbish bins were burnt out of shape. At the height of the blaze, dense smoke spread to other floors of the building. About 60 residents had to be evacuated from their homes. Smoke could be seen billowing from a flat on the 15th floor, and firefighters had to douse the unit with water. According to the fire services department, residents had left their front door open, so smoke was able to get in. 2 elderly men, aged 94 and 88, were carried out on stretchers, suffering from smoke inhalation. They were taken to Princess Margaret Hospital for treatment. The blaze was put out in about 15 minutes. According to Yau Ma Tei Station Commander Lo Chang-wai, the smoke traveled through a rubbish chute, which connects the collection room to the rest of the building. This boy, who lives in the block next door, said he was at home with his mother and brother. He was not evacuated from his flat, but he said when they opened the front door to check the situation, heavy smoke rushed into their home. Initial investigations reveal no suspicious circumstances behind the cause of the fire, but 3 empty petrol gas cans and some refrigerant canisters were found in the rubbish collection room. The Fire Services Department reminded that these items should be handled differently than normal rubbish. Winner Wong, TVB News.
Singapore Prime Minister Leung is on temporary leave after fainting yesterday while giving a speech to mark National Day. But doctors say his condition isn't serious and he should be able to resume his work next week.
Leung is on medical leave until August 29th. The Singapore Prime Minister suddenly fainted while delivering a speech marking National Day yesterday. He was rushed off stage, but returned after a break of about an hour. Lee was able to see the lighter side of things when he returned.
Thank you for waiting for me. I gave everybody a scare. The last time I did this, I was on the parade square in South D and fainted. I think that's what happened. I've never had so many doctors look at me all at once. They think I'm all right, but anyway, I'm going to have a full checkup after this.
Doctors say Lee's illness was brought on by a temporary drop in blood pressure due to prolonged standing, exhaustion and dehydration. His physicians confirmed there were no cardiac abnormalities and no stroke. While Lee takes a break, Singapore's Deputy Prime Minister Teo Chee Hean will cover the duties of the Prime Minister in his absence. Lee has spoken each year at the annual National Day rally since taking office in August 2004. The event is seen as an opportunity for leaders and the ruling People's Action Party to outline plans for the island nation. Last year, Lee was diagnosed with prostate cancer and underwent surgery to remove the gland. He also suffered from lymphoma in the early 1990s, but the cancer went into remission after successful chemotherapy.
The Philippine Foreign Minister is playing down threats by President Rodrigo Duterte that the country might leave the United Nations. The assurance came after Duterte lashed out at international criticisms of his government's war on drugs. James Aiken reports.
Since he was sworn in, Duterte has launched a war on drugs that has unleashed a wave of drug-related killings. Duterte denies his government is responsible for hundreds of extrajudicial killings, but has ordered police to shoot drug offenders if they resist arrest. The killings have alarmed the U.S. State Department and UN officials. Human rights experts are urging Manila to stop the killings and ensure law enforcement complies with international human rights obligations. Yesterday, an irritated Duterte lashed out, calling the UN ineffectual.
But maybe we'll just have to decide to separate from the United Nations. You know, United Nations, if you can say one bad thing about me, I can give you 10. But I tell you, you are an inutile.
Duterte pointed to U.S. police killings of blacks and the conflict in Syria as examples of the inability of the U.S. and the UN to stop such deadly conflicts, while the same people accuse him of killing criminals. Today, the Foreign Affairs Secretary offered assurances that the Philippines remains committed to the UN.
We are certainly not leaving the UN.
In this particular instance, you could understand the frustrations at which the President has expressed himself on this issue. The fight against drugs is not only an urgent domestic issue, it is in fact a critical issue that many international organizations, including the United Nations, have vowed to eradicate.
Yase also suggested UN experts have not followed protocols in gathering data on the killings. Duterte's drug crackdown has resulted in about 1,800 drug-related killings. Officials say just over 700 of those deaths were drug traffickers and users killed in police gun battles. The remaining killings are being investigated. Human rights experts have suggested that Philippine officials could be held liable for killings that violate human rights. James Aiken, TVB News.
The foreign ministers of China, Japan and South Korea are due to meet on Wednesday in Tokyo amid frictions between Beijing and its neighbours over territorial claims and regional security. The foreign ministers of China and Japan said today that Japan's foreign minister would chair the meeting with his Chinese and South Korean counterparts. First held in 2007, the trilateral meetings resumed last year after being suspended for 2 years amid a decline in Sino-Japanese relations. Tensions between Tokyo and Beijing remain high over claims to islands in the East China Sea. Ties between China and South Korea have frayed recently after Seoul approved the deployment of a U.S. missile defense system, which Beijing says will harm its own security.
And still ahead. Flights disrupted as a typhoon hits Japan near Tokyo. Thai police say recent bombing attacks in the south involved at least 20 people. And 10 months in jail for a tour guide for aiding and abetting the use of fake travel documents by mainland visitors.